And this is actually a real shame that this place is all pixelated, but I guess it's fine, because this is somewhat an iconic place for this game, I think. This is just a really large round room, and let's explore this systematically by going through all these doorways in order. We find a transmitter, so that's going to be very useful. And when we look through here we see this... I really don't know. I don't know. We see this thing. There we go. Through here we find another note. Capsule call, which is pixelated again, which is unfortunate, because this is actually a somewhat important hint. Well, this thing down here should, I suppose, be somewhat familiar, but I really doubt you would recognize it when playing this the first time. This is something that we'll find later, and this as well. And this as well, I suppose. Because this, I guess I can say this is actually Liz's ship. Okay, looking in this hole in the wall right here, we find a glowing box, of course, why not? And if we look through this thing, then we see this little map. And I guess it's somewhat a thing to keep in mind. Just remember this, because it's going to be somewhat interesting later, not very important, but you know, it's going to be interesting, I suppose. And yeah, let's keep on to the right here. If subnet is universe, then the loops are black holes. I wish the grammar on those wasn't so broken. You would be able to take it a lot more serious. Seriously, I don't know. I'm not very good at grammar either, so maybe I shouldn't be complaining. There is another thing here, which you can look through, and as you can see here, we have 3 layers this time. The other one only had 1 layer, and yeah, I really don't know what this does or accomplishes, but you know. And there's another telescope thing which we can look through, which gives us another confusing, if somewhat interesting picture. Down here on the ground we have a thing. I'm calling everything a thing. And if you look here, then we can actually input those symbols which we have found before. So I think this was a symbol that we've seen before. And yeah, so this is where you actually input this puzzle. Over here on the right we find a book on the floor, which we can only read 1 page of that, I suppose. Or can we? Yeah, we can. Okay. The 4th dynasty, at the peak of its cultural and technological development, was able to create first man-made submachine structure. That was around the beginning of 20th century and is now considered the birth date of the Outer Rim. Those first structures were merely flawed copies of the original structures, but in time they grew into something completely autonomous. Attempts to chart the new territories failed miserably, leading the vast submachine wilderness to its own. Alright. I'm not good at reading, and the game's creator is not very good at English, so that's a deadly combination. Let's pick up this note. Once the great scheme of things was clearly visible through the layers of 7 main dimensions. Right now, due to corrosion, collapse and spontaneous growth of the Outer Rim, the plan is almost unrecognizable. We humans deserted the Outer Rim, and the Outer Rim responded with deserting us. Nothing but decay ensues. The plan is lost. Okay, so something seems to have happened here. I'm not entirely sure, but we can look behind this thing here, and someone's left money on the floor. So that's great. There's 3 notes we can pick up right here, which is not there. And they are just somewhat random pictures of architecture which you can look at. I suppose they're kind of pretty, but they don't have any relevance to the actual game. And if you look up at the top here, there is a portal. So let's head through that. And that lets us find a solenoid. And to the left of that, a tree. And you should recognize this tree, because this is actually the tree from that portion on the map on the lower right. And now we have a symbol to associate with that, so that's very useful. Okay, heading back through here. If we head all the way to the right here, we find another key. And if we look through here, then we have a ladder and this symbol combination. This is very important. I'll explain this later. If we head up here, we can see a transmitter thing which should look familiar to you because it is this thing right here. I don't know why this actually needed explaining, because this has wires going out of it, which you'll see. Let's put these things in here. We seem to still be missing one of those solenoids, so that's unfortunate, I suppose. But if you actually look at these wires and follow them, you can see that they are leading right to this machine, so you know that this would activate that other thing. So yeah, we have found a key, which we can actually not use in this one. We can use that in this one. So let's do that. And we find the second solenoid, so let's put that right in, and then we'll see what we can do with our glowing box we got. There we go, so that thing should be fully repaired now. And now let's head back all the way, and I hope we can find the right archway for this, because they confuse me somewhat. This isn't the right one. This is the right one, okay. Because we can put this glowing box into that black monolith thing there, and get another symbol. And this is actually the last one, I think. So, yeah, jot this down. This is for the upper right location of these gardens. And I think that is all the hints we will need for that puzzle. Is it? Yes, it is. Okay. I should have been writing down along with this, I feel, but you know, didn't want to waste any time. Okay, so let me explain this. We now have a symbol associated with each location on the map, and this is actually the map of the Hanging Gardens. And these numbers are just the order in which you're supposed to input them into this machine. So the lower left one first, which is this one. It's already correct. Then the lower right one, which is an sort of umbrella shape. There we go. Then the very top one, which is this one. Okay. The top left one, which is actually the one we didn't have a location associated for, but since we know all the other ones, we now know that this one actually goes right here, and it's this one. And the top right one, which is going to be the weird corrupted Pac-Man shape. And we heard something moving there. If we look up here, then nothing really happened, because I suppose this just transmitted a signal to some place, which, if we look back at our picture, then as you can see that this transmitted something to Liz's ship, actually. And this leads to that device down here, which we have seen before, but you surely don't remember it, because it's not very obvious where you're supposed to go now. Which I think is kind of a flaw in this game. I mean, it's not really a big problem, but, you know. If I was playing this for the first time, then I would be lost at this point, because I wouldn't know where to go or what to do. But if you look down here, then this is actually what this activates, because this is what we saw before, and this is what that thing on the map is supposed to be. So let's head right in here and activate this thing. So this actually takes us to Liz's ship now, which I hope Elizabeth will be here. If we go over to the right here, then we actually can't reach this ladder. And this button here won't work, because we first have to turn this on. And then it will work, and extend the bridge out. So let's head back down first. And this is actually the point. You can see that there's something missing right here. And this is actually the point where you're supposed to use that light bulb we got at the very start of the game, but you don't have to do this. If you look through here, then there's just gonna be blocked off with a grate, which is great. Heading up to the top here. Okay, there's a very pretty chair, and I suppose someone was doing some reading or something here. Let's read that note. It's no wonder they wanted to bury this whole lighthouse with him still inside. The collapsed death toll was growing exponentially. L. It's always L in this game. Always Elizabeth writing notes. Hi, Elizabeth! I don't know. I find something very funny about this "Hi, Elizabeth" at the very start. Anyway, even in my strangest dreams, I never thought that I would be able to create through dimensional pathways leading to new unexplored places. My new experiment took me right below the lighthouse, straight to those legendary ruins. You can call me a discoverer from now on, and I only use that wisdom gem that I found lately. Just think where possibly I could go using the lighthouse itself and its full power of light. I'm considering moving to another place next 32 days. Will you take care of Einstein for me? Yours, M. Alright then. As always, great at reading. Dear Murtaugh, I understand your desire to build another karma portal within the lighthouse. I urge you not to do this. Once you leave the core, no one knows where you'll end up. The outer rim is endless. No one knows what types of mutations of submachines grew out there. I will take care of Einstein, but remember this. Einstein, I suppose. Remember this. Once you step through that portal, you can never go back. The core will be forever lost to you. I'm not gonna pretend that I understand any of the story, by the way. I still don't. I mean, I understand a little bit of it. Well, someone seems to have used some guns right here. And more up here. I wonder how these bullet holes came to exist anyway. I mean, where were they standing? Were they standing down here? Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Breaking the game. This map here, another one. Very useful. I finally understood how they could mimic the structure of the subnet within a garden. They didn't have to mimic. They were already living inside the subnet. Okay. What a weird bottle right here. So yeah, there seems to have some kind of a fight on Liz's ship. And I suppose this is the controls for the ship, I'm not entirely sure. I can hear Murtaugh breaching the defenses of my ship. It is the high time for me to leave this dimension. I'm sorry I couldn't wait for you any longer, but I fear that with one more karma portal placed, this dimension will collapse entirely. I know what he wants to do. I know why he came back to the core. He's after those who buried him alive in that lighthouse. I have to warn them. I have to get to the 5th layer. I wish you could follow me, but I have only one rescue pod left. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. So, it seems that Murtaugh and Elizabeth used to be friends, but then somehow grew apart, I suppose, because he was breaking the dimensions basically with his karma portals, or something along those lines, and it seems that Murtaugh was the one who broke into this ship. So yeah, and Elizabeth is already gone. Presumably through this portal right here. And there's actually one final thing. This is actually what would end the game for us. But one final thing before we go through that is this lever right here. If you could hear that, that was the sound of a grate moving. Classic sound. So heading back all the way down here, we now see that this grate is gone, and we can go through this portal right here. Welcome to the super secret bonus sections. Congratulations on finding this place. You can read my commentaries of creation of this game, if you found the tokens, that is. Mateusz Skutnik, December 2010. And I missed one token, which thankfully I know where that is. Thank God, because that would have been just the worst. It's right behind this table. There we go. So now we have all 5 tokens. Let's head back down all the way through here. Okay. And we have 5 little viewer things. So let's see what this one has to say. Those drawings were done by me while studying architecture back in the day about 12 years ago. I held on to these because they seemed nice and I thought I might use them for something one day. Well, what do you know, they ended up in Submachine. Alright. How about this one? You can find many references and small tributes to things I like in the Submachine world. Blue energy lines are a homage to Tron, the dimension layers, Nightwatch by Sergei, the mushrooms, the Amanita Design Studio, and so on. You can try to find more and comment about them. Oh, Amanita Design are the creators of Machinarium and Botanicula and Samaros, which are all great games. I might actually let's play those at some point, maybe. I don't know yet. Deep sea or deep cave forms of life have one thing in common: fluorescence. It appears in environments lacking the sunlight. Besides being nice eye candy, that concept fits in perfectly within the Submachine universe. Yeah, so this is all very, very pretty. I have to admit it's very pretty, this game. Even though it has some pixelated background. Ooh. That naturally is a real garden. It's Versailles, near Paris in France. The Garden of Versailles occupies part of what was once the Domaine Royal de Versailles, the Royal Chateau de Versailles. I can't speak French, obviously. But I didn't actually know that. That's interesting, I suppose. Exciting coordinates right there, thank you. Okay, and the final one. Murtaugh's karma portals are shattering this dimension as I am shattering your expectations of what Submachine really is. In this episode, I feel I pushed the story further than in any previous one. We're speeding things up, there are only 3 episodes left to go. Great things ahead of us. Happy holidays, everyone. And I still don't know how to pronounce his name. And we can't go through that portal, obviously. But okay. So that's all the secrets in Submachine 7. Let's watch the ending. Thank you for playing Submachine 7 The Core. You found 5 out of 5 secrets. Bravo me. To be continued in Submachine 8 The Plan, coming up in 2011. I think it actually was 2012 in the end, because that's always how it goes with these games. But yeah, that was Submachine 7 The Core. I have no idea how long this video is because I didn't look at the timer, but I hope it's not too long. So yeah. Submachine 8 coming up whenever. I don't know. Goodbye.